Hi guys, before I get to the video, I want to do a little shameless plug for my 3 books that I've written. So I've written 3 books about the PS Vita. They chart the full history of the Vita and they include interviews with developers and retrospectives on the big games. These are all available to buy on my website, as is my one-off Vita magazine, which charts my top 100 Vita games, plus the community's vote for top 100 games. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the description, and now onto the video. Hi guys, thanks for watching part 2 of my list of must-own digital Vita games. So the first part focused on those kind of bigger games, more expensive games on the Vita, on the PSN store. Today it's going to be more about indie games and smaller games and cheaper games. Now, I did have to try and think about this because I know there's a lot of games like Salt and Sanctuary where they were released by Limited Run Games, for example, but a lot of people don't have them. So even though there was a physical release, there was, I think it's still more of a digital game because most people weren't able to grab a copy of the physical game. But I decided to just stick to completely non-physical games, so digital games that never made a physical release. There are so many Vita games out there that I would consider like must-own. But, I tried to pick just ones that are genuinely purely digital that I think are worth grabbing at some point. So, onto the list. First up, SteamWorld Dig 2. This is an absolutely brilliant 2D platformer. All the SteamWorld games are great, and this is just the best one in the series. It's really fun, good length of time, so it doesn't overstay its welcome, great graphics, perfect controls. I absolutely love this game. Now, it is cross-buy though, so there may be a chance that it will go on sale, or I'm sure it will go on sale eventually on PS4, which should make the PS Vita version go on sale as well. So this is one probably not worth jumping to own anytime soon. Wait for a sale, I'm sure there will be one. The next game is also cross-buy. It's TIMESPINNER, which is a great 2D Metroidvania game. Brilliant 16-bit graphics, really good gameplay again as well. Like I said, it's cross-buy, so I'm sure it'll go on sale again sometime, and so it's worth picking up when that happens. I've got a review on my channel for it, by the way, in case you want to check that out. Next up, not an indie game, but an absolutely brilliant game, and it is completely digital only. XCOM Enemy Unknown Plus. This is a strategy RPG where you're fighting an army of monsters with an army of soldiers. It's just amazing. It's a brilliant game. I put a video up recently on my channel just kind of playing it and showing you guys what it looks like. It's a superb game. You should definitely check it out. XCOM series generally is awesome. And although the Vita version doesn't have the best graphics, the load times are pretty long, it's still very much playable and a great game. Next up, Crypt of the NECRODANCER. This is a roguelike game where you need to move through a dungeon, killing enemies, getting to the next floor, all to the beat of the music. And the music is brilliant. It's really, really good. And it's just a fun gameplay. It's really simple to understand the mechanics, but there's so much to do there. There's so much to unlock and discover. And it is really tough. It's really tough, but also addictive as well. You just want to keep playing it. I really recommend this game. Next up is a 2D fighter, Garou Mark of the Wolves. This is a really good game. Amazing graphics. The graphics are probably some of my favorite part of this game. They're kind of 16-bit, very detailed pixel sprites. But the gameplay is awesome as well. Really easy to get into. It's also cross-buy, so you probably can wait for a sale on this one as well. This next game really deserved a physical release, and it just really annoys me that we never got one. Rogue Legacy. It's an absolutely brilliant 2D action platformer and roguelike. It's so addictive to just play and keep playing. Whenever you die, you kind of go and try and improve your character a little bit, come back and play again. I've sunk dozens of hours into it. I still haven't been able to beat it, but I just keep on playing it because I just love it. So this next game is not an indie game, but it's one I feel like deserves a bit more attention. Ratchet and Clank QFORCE. This is a tower defense game. It's a 3D tower defense game. So you're controlling like Ratchet and you need to, shoot your gun, build your base. It's actually a really fun game. I think what lets it down is the load times on it, and I remember the graphics were a little bit kind of, well, they weren't great. But otherwise, I thought it was still a fun game. I never finished it, but I enjoyed it. It's on PSN, it never got a physical release. I think it's definitely worth keeping on your radar. Sound Shapes is up next. This is another cross-buy game, so again, you can wait for a sale on it. I'm sure Sony will put it on sale eventually. I loved Sound Shapes. The first time I played it, I wasn't completely sold on it. I kind of rushed through just to try and get the platinum. But then when I came back to it and really sort of gave it my time, I realized just how awesome it is. The platforming is awesome, the music is amazing. It's just a brilliant game. It's a real shame that the servers got shut down from Sony, so you can't download user-created levels anymore. But the game itself is just awesome and definitely worth buying. PIXELJUNK Monsters Ultimate HD is the next game. This tower defense game is just awesome. You control this little tiki man and you need to save the little babies from these monsters that are coming through the forest by building like bases and towers to shoot those monsters. It's really fun and addictive as well, and super challenging. The trophies here are almost impossible in my opinion. They're really hard. It can be frustrating getting to like the end of the 20 waves of enemies and then losing one of your babies when you're close to a perfect run, but it's just so much fun and so addictive that I always just went back and played more. Can't recommend this game enough. It's probably my favorite tower defense game of all time. MOTORSTORM RC is a brilliant top-down racer. It's so much fun to play. It's very easy to kind of jump in and like just play a level, because each level is only about 20-30 seconds long, and just you end up playing and playing. I absolutely love this game. It's got this very cool feature where if you've got PSN friends who also have MOTORSTORM RC, you compete against their ghosts, against their times, and it just makes it more fun and more addictive. Really good game, definitely worth checking out. Next up is Super Life of Pixel. This is a super challenging 2D platformer, but it's got some really cool style to it. So different worlds within the game are modeled on different consoles. So you'll have like say a 16-bit kind of aesthetic based on the Super NES, or you'll have like Game Boy Color style, Game Boy style, like kind of that green and gray style screen. It's just really cool in terms of the style of the game and the way the levels are designed. It is very tough though. I got frustrated lots of times, but it's still a fun game and definitely worth keeping on your radar. Foul Play is so much fun. It's a 2D beat 'em up, kind of like Streets of Rage, but you're playing this English gentleman who has to fight other characters on the stage of a show. And you need the better you do in terms of your combos and your attacks, the more happier the crowd is, and that's kind of your gauge for life. So you don't have like a health gauge or anything. It's when you start getting hit and when you start losing the crowd's popularity and attention, that's when it's game over. It's a really cool game, really unique style as well, and really funny as well in terms of the dialogue. Next up is a recent game. It only came out a few months ago from RATCHET. It's called Thy Sword. This is a 2D action game. It doesn't look like much when you see the graphics, but actually the gameplay is really fun. It's really fun and addictive. I completed it in one weekend because I just loved it so much. Just wanted to keep on playing it. It's probably about, I think it was like 5 or 6 hours to finish the game, but it's just like a really good length and really good gameplay. It just kept me coming back and wanting to finish it. The last game on my list is Zen Pinball 2. I absolutely love Zen Pinball 2. It's so fun and so addictive and so easy to just sink loads of hours into it. I've bought so many of the table, and after the news last week about the store, us losing the web store and mobile store, I thought I'm going to just buy a few more tables because I just love them so much. It's just a brilliant game, really good fun, easy to get into and just so addictive to keep on playing. I definitely recommend the Bethesda tables, especially Skyrim. That one's awesome. And then I also love the Spider-Man and Wolverine and Deadpool tables as well. Definitely one to look for, one to look at. And given it's got so much DLC on it, the day Sony eventually closes down the PSN store, all that DLC gets lost. So it's one of these games that I definitely wanted to have on my Vita and try and grab as much of a DLC, or all the DLC that interested me at least. So guys, that is the list of digital games worth owning in my opinion. So hopefully you checked out part 1 already. Let me know in the comments what you think of part 1 and part 2, and let me know your picks for must-own digital games. Thanks for watching.